So I'm going to show how to use MATLAB's app designer to create a simple psychophysical experiment. It's worth doing this because it's easy to run the experiment. You can easily randomize the trials for each participant, and you can easily collect the data, which is more reliable than writing it down, for example, or transferring it from some software into Excel. So we're using version 2023B, and we've got a folder which has got 3 resources in, these 3 images, a red one, a green one, and a blue one. And we're going to write an experiment to show these images in random order and ask people what their preference for those colors is. So to do this, we go to Apps, Design App. I'm going to use a blank app. Now you get the design view here, and you get the code view. This code simply has been generated by MATLAB to create this. So if we run it, let's just save it first of all. But if we run it, we simply get a window, nothing to see here, just a simple window. So let's start by adding a button. You just drag a visual component from on the left, hang on a second, drag it over to here, place it wherever you want to. You can give this a name, like for example, button start, and you can change here the text. Let's say go, for example. Still doesn't do very much. We're going to use this button to create an image, and I tend to use the axes rather than the image components. I'm going to pull this axis over here, and I've got this axis here. I'm going to get rid of some of these things which I don't really want, because I'm going to be showing an image rather than plotting data. Okay, I also don't like the fact it's white and the rest of it is grey. I think you can take the figure and change its colour here to white. That's better. We've got these axes here, we're not too worried about that. Okay, so if we click run, we get a button and nothing else. So what we have to do now is click on the visual component and say add a callback. This is where we get interactivity. This is a function that will be called whenever the user presses this button. So we click on that. And you can see here it's created a function that when it's pushed, it'll run the code here. So for example, I can go I equals imread, and let's read in, for example, one of those images we've got in the directory, and then let's show it, imshow I, and we need to specify where to show it. So we're going to say the parent of this image is going to be these axes here. Okay, app dot UI axes, and spell it correctly. Let's run that. So we click go, we get the image shown. Very nice. I want to make it so that you can't see the axes until you press go. To do that, we need to go over here and create a callback. Where do we do it? Is it here? is it on the app itself? Probably on the app. Yeah, startup function. So whenever the app is opened, it's going to call this. So we're going to do set app.UI axis. That's the thing that I've just created with the axes on. Visible off. So let's try that. That's better to start with if we created it there. Okay. But now we want to display 3 of these things. So we need to create some additional variables in the startup. We can create a variable like x equals 1, and that's what we call a local variable. Within this function, it's fine, but it won't be available anywhere else. Whereas we want to create more global variables, so to do that, we need to define them here, these properties. Add a property, you can see here. Let's call it number of trials. And you can see it's appeared here, app.number of trials. That variable now we can use here. So if we say app.number of trials equals 3, because we've got 3 images we want to show. And we want to have another function, we'll call it over here, which is current trial. And we can go into the startup and say app current trial equals 0. And then when the button's pushed, the first thing we do is we say app dot current trial equals app dot current trial plus 1. So it starts off as 0, now it's 1. Next time it's going to be 2. And we're going to load different files. To do that, we need to be familiar with something called sprintf. So file name equals 1.png is fine. But if we do file name equals sprintf %d.png I, so I equals 4, for example, I equals 4, and then file name equals sprintf, and you can see whatever value I is gets put into here, so we now get 4png. You see that's going to work. So we're going to use that, let's copy that for convenience, over here. We're going to say the file name we're going to load is not I, but app dot the current trial, which was 1, then it's going to be 2, then it's going to be 3. And so we load here not that, but file name. So it'll do this. Every time we press the button, it will increase the current trial by 1, and let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3. Very nice. Press it again. Well, that's interesting. Strange behavior, because it's 4 and 4.png doesn't exist. Where it's getting that other image from, I've no idea. But obviously what we should do here is we should say if app dot current trial is less than or equal to app dot number of trials, then we're going to do this. And if not, we're going to finish, and we'll deal with that later. So if we do this now, we can go, go, and then it's not doing anything else because it's exceeding the number of images it's got. Okay, so one thing we could do is when we go into this function, we can change the label of the button, which is app dot button start, and we can change it to next, for example. We'll do that. Is it label or is it text? I think it's text. Let's try that. I can't remember. Yeah, see, it changes it to next. So go to start, then next, right? Now, when you get to the end, we want to now disable the button. So we can just copy this bit of code here, and we can change the text to finished, but also say that it's is it enable or enabled? I never remember. Enable, let's try it. Go, next, 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 finished. You can see now you can't, the button's been disabled or finished. It'd be quite nice to get rid of this thing. So if we were to do that at the bottom, would that get rid of the color? I don't think it would, but let's try it. No, because it's the axes we're talking about. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to load up another image, and the image is going to be a 1 pixel image. So we're going to say the image equals ones 1 1 3. This is an image with 1 row, 1 column, and 3 values at each position, which is RGB. It's a 1 by 1 image, and we're going to say im111 is 255. That's the R value. This is the G value. Two, 3. Just make sure it is uint 8, unsigned integer, which is what an image is. Whenever we load an image, it has that data type, and then we can simply show that image. And even though it's only 1 pixel big, this image, it will actually be expanded to fill the whole axis. So let's try that. Go, bum, bum, bum. Yeah, it's finished. It's quite nice. So we're going well. The next thing you want to do is put something for the user response. So we go to the code view, sorry, design view. Do a number of things here. We could put in a box where people can put a number in. We could put a list box where they select their number from there. A spinner, all sorts of things. We're going to use this slider. We're going to pull this across here and use a slider. I'm going to get rid of the text, the label. Don't like it. Okay, we've got a slider bar here we're going to use, right? What's it called? App slider. We can call this, rename it, app slider response. Okay, so at the moment you can imagine that when we open it, you're going to see this slider bar here. Let's run it and see for yourself. That doesn't look great. So what we want to do within the code view at the startup, just like we made that invisible, we want to make the slider invisible. This is called app. Just looking on the right hand side here, slider response visible. And then as soon as we start, well, at the end we want to make it invisible as well when we're finished. But whilst people are actually doing something, we want to make it visible so that people can give their response. So we go here, go, give your response, next, give your response, next, give your response, next. But we're not recording that response. To do that, we need to, just like we made this function, which is a callback when you press the button, we need to make a callback for when you interact with this. So if we right click on that, you can see various callbacks exist. For example, we can do add value changing, which means every time you move the slider bar, you're going to get this function called, or value change, which is when you've moved the slider bar and let go. I think we want that. So when we add that callback here, you can see it down the bottom here, you can see that this is going to be called every time we change the slider bar. And you can see that it helpfully shows you how to get the value of the slider bar, which is value. But remember, this is a local variable, we would lose it. We want to save it, so we want to go back up here, properties, add another one. We want to get, say, simply call it data, our user data, right? So then down here, we can say the data is stored as this. Which data? We're going to store 3 numbers. Well, the current trial, remember, which goes 1, 2, 3, is first of all 1, then 2, then 3. And then at the end here, we can just display app data. See what we get. So go here, go. We can say we'll set 90 for the red and sort of 50 for the green, and something small for the blue. We just said display, so if we go back to MATLAB here, you can see, oh, that's my file name, I need to change that. It's because over here I've got file name without a semicolon. Let's just run that again. Go, 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 finished. Oh, this is not putting it on the screen for some reason. I'm going to go instead equals app data like that. Oh, it's because here I put data. Data will be a local variable. It's app.data, remember, if you want to have it shared, so it's available over here. So I could have just done it as it was before, which is this app data. Okay, so let's run that. Go, bum, 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 bum. And you can see the data here, 86, 51, 13. We could just copy those and put them into a spreadsheet. So we're going pretty well. A couple of things I would like to disable the next button every time we show a trial. So when we show that, we disable the start button. We only enable it once someone's interacted, so we force people to interact with the slider bar each time. So we're now going to enable it. So we run this. Go. Now you can't click on the button till you've done something like this. Next. Next. Finished. Good. All looking pretty good. But the next thing you want to do, and we're nearly finished, it's literally not much more code than this. The next thing you want to do is randomize. So to randomize, we need to explain something in MATLAB, which is, say we have numbers 1, 2, 3, and we want to randomize them. Then we can go randperm 3, and randperm gives us however many numbers we specify, in this case 3, in random order. All right. So if we do randperm and then say x1, which is 2, x2, which is 1, and x3 is 3, we'll do them in order of 2, 1, 3. So going to here, at the very beginning, we simply need to say our order equals randperm 3, or actually app num trials to make it a bit more robust. And of course we need a property, so we're going to call it our order. So we need to put app there. So our order will now be 3 numbers in random order, which means when we're down here and we're going to get the image, instead of app current trial, we go app our order app current trial. So the first item in our order, and then the second item, then the third item. If we run this, we get blue, green, red. Let's run it again. Green, red, blue. Each person gets a different order, but you might say, but then it's all screwed up. We don't know the order which it was. Well, to fix that, we simply need to, at the end, reorder them. And to show you how that will work, again, going to here, if we've got X, which is 213, and I want to order that, and I've got some results, let's say, which is 100, 70, and 31. This means that the second one has got 100, the first one's got 70, and the third one's got 31. We want to order this so that it goes 70, 100, 31, which is the correct order. To do this, we do this. We go results equals results playing. This simply turns this row into a column, and we put the order the same thing like that. So we put the results with the order. Then we go results equals sort rows. Which rows? Which we're going to sort that according to column number 2, which you can see turns that into 70, 131, 1, 2, 3. So we've put them back into the correct order. And then we simply say results equals results. We're only interested in the first column. We can get rid of that. So we do this. We said we only want the first column. Simple as that. So over here at the end, when we've got our data, I'm just going to say data. This is our data equals app data. It's not necessary to do this. I'm just going to do it anyway. Order equals app our order. Made local copies of these things, and then data equals data order, like that. Data equals sort rows, data second column, data equals data. We're only interested in the first column now, and once we've got it, we can display it. Let's run that. So again, if we go to, you can see red is the first one, then green, then blue, right? So we're going to give the red one a very high score, the blue one a low score, and the green one a score in between. Oh, yeah, this happens. I've made a typing error. Sorts rows. It should just be sort rows. Right. Sorry about that. Let's run it again. So the blue one's going to get a small reading, the green one a middle reading, and the red one a large reading. When we go to the results over here, you can see the red one, which is first, has got the high one, then the green, then the blue. So actually, we've got them all in the correct order. Even though they were presented in random order, we've got them in now the ascending order. We can simply copy that like that and paste it into Excel. It's actually better to post a column vector like this into Excel than it is to post, for example, a row vector, which won't go into all the different cells. And by the way, if we simply go to here, I'm going to make another color. So we'll make this one, for example, yellow. Grab that, save as picture, 4. I think it's there. Yeah. So now we've got a fourth picture in there. If we go to the app designer, all we've got to do now is, say, number of tiles equals 4, and that's why it's important not to put rand_perm3 here, because that'd be hard coding it. It's much better to make it soft coded like this. So now we put 4, and everything will work on 4 images now, but in random order. Let's have a go. Yellow. And yes, we're done now. If we look at the bottom, you can see here's our 4 scores. Bang. If you don't want all these decimal places, because there's no way anyone can actually operate at that level from the slider bars, you could simply here take the app and the value and round it. We'll look at that in a second. We could also add some text using label. Please indicate how much you like this color. And we can put this here. You can look here and see that it's got a ridiculous title. Let's change its title to rename label. I don't know whether it's like English or American spelling. Anyway, it doesn't matter, it's only a name. The label instruction. Right, and if we run this, of course, we're going to get that nasty instruction there. So again, going to the code view, we just need to make sure that at the beginning we make that label invisible. So set app label. You can see it auto completes for you like that. Instruction visible off. We also want to make it invisible when we're finished at the end, but during the experiment we want to make it so that it's visible, which is here. And we're done. Let's run it. Go. They're presented in random order. And if you look in here, you can see the results are now have been rounded 33, 26, 81, 60. I just realized there's one more thing we can do, which is it's quite small. So actually you could, when you run it, you could make it, of course, bigger. But I've noticed it does this, which is not ideal. It's better to actually make it bigger in the first place, which is you take the whole thing here, and just make the whole thing a lot bigger. Clearly then we want to take these and put them in the center. You see a little line up here, I think there, where it's centralized. We could make it, we could take these and put them down a little bit. We could make this a little bit bigger. Run that. And that looks like a nicer experiment. Go. Okay, this isn't centralized. You could sort that out. And there you've got it. And actually, you could just do one more little thing. just to show you, you could say, let's not make the label invisible at the end. Instead, let's change its text to be, just say, thanks for your participation. Run it. Go. Bum, 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 bum. Pretty nice. You can spend ages. You can get this thing working very quickly, but then you spend ages getting it just right. I might like this to be a little bit bigger, like this. Yeah. Okay. Don't really like it that it goes 3/6. You can see it's the tick marks here. Sort of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Let's see if this works. 70, 80, 90, 100. Let's try that. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Oh, one more thing. Sorry. What we should do at the very beginning, I told you there's lots of things you always spend a lot of time fiddling about, but let's set the value for this at the beginning when we're about to let's set up slider response, which property, its value, let's set it to 50. And the reason for that is so that it always starts with it in the middle rather than being biased by starting at the... So when I do this and get next, it puts it back to 50 each time. It's a nice little touch. And there you go. That is how you write an experiment. The amount of code you have to write is just about 20, 30 lines of code. It's not particularly difficult. And you can do all sorts of interesting experiments with this, showing images, showing colors, slider bars, interaction. It's pretty straightforward. Hope you found it interesting, and thank you very much.